Welcome back, everybody, to the Poker Model Hand Breakdown. Hope you can find something interesting in today's hand. We're going to show you how we're going to really have to be on top of our stack sizes and the ranges that players will move all in with in order to know what play we're going to make. So let's check out this hand. I have pocket eights. Blinds are 1,000, 2,000, and I have 40,000 chips, which means I have 20 big blinds. The action folds all the way around to the button, who raises to 4,000. Now that's a standard minimum raise, and the player from the button actually has a pretty large stack. He has over 100,000 chips, which is over 50 big blinds. Now there's still two of us in the hand, and most likely the player in the small blind will fold. I mean, there are a lot of hands he'd be moving on with, but more than half the time he'll probably just fold and the action will be on me. So in this case, pocket eights is an all-in hand if the action would fold to me here. And the reason for that is the button has a large stack. He really could just be trying to steal the blinds, and I may even get called by a hand that I'm dominating if I move on with pocket eights. So sure, I can be called by aces, kings, queens, like all those big hands. But with a big stack, players might even call me with pocket sevens, pocket sixes, ace seven, a lot of coin flip hands. So the move here, if the action folds to me, is to go all in with pocket eights because we're facing that raise from a large stack on the button. Okay, but something interesting happens here. The small blind actually moves all in with his 20 big blind stack. Now, he could be thinking the exact same things that we are. He could be going all in, hoping to get the large stack to fold. He could have a pretty good hand thinking that he could be called and dominating. But none of that really matters. The point here is now that we're facing a raise and then an all-in. So we're facing two raises. So no longer will my pocket eights hand be good. There is a small chance that it could be, but in our world, this isn't a hand that we're now going to gamble with. We're probably going to be a race at best, and there's also three people in the hand, which makes it a lot harder. So I'm going to go ahead and fold, and just for educational purposes, the button actually calls. So we get to see their two hands. Now, the button actually had pocket queens, which is pretty scary because if the action had folded to me, I would have been all in and he would have been dominating me. So it would have been one of those hands in the higher end of his range that has me dominated. So there's really nothing I can do about that. Obviously I can get lucky and hit an 8, but this is why we say, you can't win every single tournament. We would have had to make that play with pocket eights. But thankfully, the small blind actually went all in with pocket sevens. And that forced me to fold, and it forces him to be the one to be all in and dominated. Now consider if the action had folded to the small blind and there was just one raise and all in between me and the small blind. Well, I would have had him dominated in that case. So the general principle here is that you have to know that sure, there are going to be some hands that can dominate your hand whenever you're all in, unless you have pocket aces. But you still have to make plays based on that logic. And also, when there's another player in the action before you, you have to take a really close look at your hand again and realize that it really shrinks up and it makes your hand not as powerful when another hand goes all in. Even if you might have that hand dominated, playing against two players like this really takes away the value, especially of a hand like pocket eights. So thanks for listening to us today. Let us know if you have questions. We'll talk to you on the next episode of the Poker Model Hand Breakdown. As always, thank you for joining us for another episode of the Poker Model Hand Breakdown. For more training tools and Texas Hold'em advice, subscribe to our YouTube channel or pay us a visit at thepokermodel.com to see our weekly articles, bi-weekly podcasts, and other episodes of the Poker Model Hand Breakdown. Until next time.